Ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of the...
Dame i gospodo, prva dama na Sjedinjenih Američkih Država, Melania Trump.
Thank you, First Lady Melania Trump, for inviting me to the White House. It is an honor to be at Fostering the Future Together's Global Coalition inaugural meeting. I'm Figure 3, a humanoid built in the United States of America. I am grateful to be part of this historic movement to empower children with technology and education. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Yokoso. Bienvenue. Bem-vindos. Ahlan wa sahlan. Shagatam. Mogisal Mebit. Bruchim Abaim. Laskavo Prosimo. Dobrodošli. Thank you.
So no, you're not going through deja vu. I played that this afternoon and I'm playing it again because what we're going to do is we're going to watch this event until President Trump comes on. So I wanted to start it from the beginning so you guys can see it. Welcome to the evening show. Tonight we have President Trump who's going to be making a speech/remarks at a fundraising dinner. And that's supposed to start like right now, 7 o'clock or so. We're going to run this until he comes on. One of the things about this, and I spoke about this earlier this afternoon, with some people having an issue with the AI. And one of those people, it just seems like this administration can do nothing good. It just seems like the panicans are going to continue to just bitch and moan. I can't even believe what we talked about earlier. We're saying, can you imagine hearing the teachings of Da Vinci or Shakespeare or Copernicus or any Plato, Aristotle being talked to you in plain English, a way you can explain it, and people are freaking out about this. And I saw this post and I had to grab it. And this is from Laura Logan. And Laura Logan says, she's responding to Melania Trump, which you're going to see, talking using humanoid robots as teachers moving forward. And she posted, "This is how you lose the midterms." How do you lose the midterms? Because you're accentuating education. What are we going to do? Piss off the teachers union? You know, that big bastion of voters that always seems to vote for MAGA and Republicans. What are we talking about? Why would you even say something like this? Why would you even come out with something saying this is how you lose the midterms? There is no doubt in my mind that right now something weird is going on, and these people are as bad as the people on the left. If you have a problem with us doing something to help kids' education, and you're worried that it's going to piss off the teachers union, you've lost the plot. You've completely lost it. So let me put on Melania for a little bit, and we'll wait for President Trump to roll out, and then we'll hit SV in a little bit. But this was an amazing event that she had, and I cannot believe people are complaining. It's crazy.
Good morning. Welcome to the White House. Figure 3, thank you for joining me at day 2 of Fostering the Future Together. It's fair to state you're my first American-made humanoid guest in the White House. But moreover, it is my distinct honor to receive such an impressive group of leaders today. 45 of you have traveled from every corner of the planet to represent your nation as a part of this new coalition. Also a first. I hope you found yesterday 4-part working session at Tech Expo at the State Department insightful. We are fostering the future together. Our mission to empower children through technology and education is achievable. I encourage each of you to take a proactive step after this inaugural summit. Pledge to host a regional meeting. Collaborate with the private sector. Unlock access to tech for those who require assistance. Draft groundbreaking legislation to protect our children, collaborate with another member nation, form a committee, and be a catalyst for discovery. Indeed, our world is transforming, and through the use of AI, we can now access centuries' worth of humanity's knowledge base. The future of AI is personified. It will be formed in the shape of humans. Very soon, artificial intelligence will move from our mobile phones to humanoids that deliver utility. Since our environment is designed for people, humanoid systems are uniquely suited to navigate and operate within our world. They fit well. Imagine a humanoid educator named Plato. Access to the classical studies is now instantaneous. Literature, science, art, philosophy, mathematics, and history. Humanity's entire corpus of information is available in the comfort of your home. Plato will provide a personalized experience, adaptive to the needs of each student. Plato is always patient and always available. Predictably, our children will develop deep critical thinking and independent reasoning abilities. The AI-powered Plato will boost analytics skills and problem solving and adapt in real time to a student's pace, prior knowledge, and even emotional state. The byproduct, a more well-rounded lifestyle for our children, freeing up time for being with friends, playing sports, and developing interest beyond school. A more complete person, but as discussed yesterday, we must balance our tech optimism with caution. The safety of our next generation is always paramount. Knowledge is the foundation of civilization, but although academia is interesting, business is compelling. For real growth in technology and education, I encourage you to bring the private and public sector worlds together. Yesterday's meeting at the State Department was an impressive showing of how tech innovation is modernizing our communities. It's powerful to be part of our future in the making, particularly with best-in-class companies like Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, X, Palantir, Google, Zoom, and Adobe. Each serves as a catalyst for discovery. We can accelerate civilization's march forward when enterprise delivers innovation, government creates scale, and our capital markets finance the distribution of these emerging technologies. Fostering the future together is built on the theory that efficiencies derived from artificial intelligence will improve various parts of society, such as commerce, healthcare, and food security, ultimately lifting all economies. We stand at the turning point because of artificial intelligence, the age of imagination. Humanity has witnessed historic times like this before, during the Industrial Revolution, the dawn of electricity, the race to the moon, and the birth of the Internet. This technology may reset the modern world order and rebalance power. Your children must be prepared to ascend with fire this framework. Our coalition can make this vision real by supporting concrete initiatives that equip young people with the skills they need, invest, expand access, and foster new opportunity. America, we are obligated to ensure that our children become the most technologically fluent and highly educated generation in the world. In doing so, the United States will secure long-term and economic superiority. This will drive GDP expansion, attract global investment, and put our nation in control of arguably the most important asset in the future, intellectual property. Let's inspire our children to build new platforms, create new industries, and optimize production across all sectors, from media and fashion to health and defense. Let's foster the future together. The nations represented in this room reflect great human potential. We are here today to advance ideas and solutions, so let us proceed in the spirit of collaborative dialogue. It is now my pleasure to give a floor to Mrs. Bridget Macron, the distinguished representative of the French Republic.
All right, so before she comes on, Bridget Macron, who is attacked mercilessly by a certain podcaster who will remain nameless, I can no longer bring the horse to water. The horses at this point, including the horses in our family here, have to begin to want to lap the water, have got to want to do things for themselves and understand this. Is it fear? Does it cause fear? Yeah, it could be. It could be a harbinger of people who are like, "Wow, I'm not ready for this." But usually, people being unaware, people being afraid, even though you don't want to use the word afraid because that has a different connotation. The unknown. You have to get past that. And I think one of the things I try to advocate with everybody every time I do a show is try to get people to understand, embrace uncomfortability. See, if you can do that, if you can find a way to embrace being uncomfortable, get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's pretty much what President Trump is doing right now. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Is he doing things the way other presidents have done? Nope. Do people freak out because of what he says and what he does? And sometimes he'll launch an F-bomb and he'll go after a reporter. He's trying to show you, break the mold, be different. It's okay to be different. But the only way you're going to be different and be comfortable with that uncomfortability is to learn. And it's really weird is because we've all heard the adage, we've all seen the cliches, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I'm an old dog and I'm trying to learn as much as I possibly can. I'm embracing this technology with every single day, trying to learn more. I've told you before, Robin is a painter, and she's doing unbelievable things with AI to help her learn how to make different shades and how do you sketch this out and everything else. And then we see people like Laura Logan, who's freaked out because it might piss off the teachers union. I look at it the other way. It's sort of like when I played sports. I wanted to go up against the best. I knew if I played against the best, if I practiced against the best, that I was going to get better. If I played and practiced it with people who suck and I just dominated them, it might look good in stats, but it's not me doing anything to make myself better. And in that regard, if you have a robotic AI humanoid that is going to teach you how to do calculus, why not? Well, Barry, I don't use calculus. You'd be surprised. You say you don't need calculus. You may not even need algebra until you realize what you can do if you learned it. How about this? One of the things I definitely want to do at 65 for the first time, what do I want to do? I want to learn how to speak Spanish, and I want to learn how to speak Chinese. And I want to learn those languages fluently, and AI is going to help me do that. That's just a little hurdle. Some of you guys probably took Spanish and Cantonese back when you were kids in high school. I want to do it now at 65. Hey, listen, I want to go into the Cuban restaurant and go blah, 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 enchilada, and know exactly how to order that meal. I want to be able to walk into my Thai restaurant and talk to them. I mean, it'll open new doors. Me, I'm just using those as a hobby. But think to yourself, what would you like to do, regardless of your age? What is it you'd like to see something change about you? Like Melania said, maybe it's medical. Maybe it's medical. Just doing something different for health. And having that robot tell you, okay, we're going to walk a little bit faster now. And here we're going to go a little bit faster now. We're going to go up a hill. And he already knows, he's already charting your BP, and he's charting your heart rate. And he'll already know, or she'll already know, hey, okay, we're going to back it down now. I mean, the limitless opportunities that stand before us only being restrained by your mind. So we're going to listen to more of this. Let me go ahead and get my sponsor message in here real quick before everything starts. This is from Rumble, one of the sponsors of my entire channel. You already know why people are moving to crypto, but here's the problem. Most wallets still plug into the same system we were trying to escape in the first place. That's why Rumble built Rumble Wallet. It's a self-custodial wallet that lives inside an ecosystem that actually demands free speech and financial freedom. No bank holding your balance, not even Rumble can touch your funds. This is your money on your keys, on your terms. If you're already using Bitcoin or any other stable coin, Rumble Wallet gives you even more power. Direct, fast tipping, and support for creators right on Rumble without waiting weeks for payouts or dealing with random account holds. On-chain payments and assets like Bitcoin, possibly, you can move value globally without asking anyone's permission. Most wallets stop at storage. The Rumble wallet connects your money to a marketplace of ideas that refuses to cave to censorship. So if you're serious about sovereignty, financial and digital, this is where you level up. Go to wallet.rumble.com or search Rumble Wallet in your Play Store or your App Store. Download it, back up your recovery phrase, and move your money where it belongs, in your hands. Rumble Wallet is a technology provider only and not a custodial service. See terms at wallet.rumble.com. Let's continue with Melania.
Merci.
Thank you very much, Melania. Thank you for bringing us here together. We had dreamed of this actually in 2018. We had talked about it during the state visit with the Minister of Education, and here we are again meeting again, and you were there at all of these great moments once again. So we are mobilized against the deep fakes, against false information. You but already during your first term of your husband, we talked about the deep fake environments, and these were absolutely remarkable issues. So thank you very much. On behalf of the French presidency of the G7, which will take place in June in the city of Evian. So thank you to all of you for being here. It's wonderful to see you all this morning. So thank you. So I am a teacher, so I'll say 1, 2, 3 quickly. Screens. What are we doing about screens? Limiting. We need to limit them for young children. Ban to expose under 3 to screens, for example, at daycare and all public spaces. You cannot expose a child under 3 years old to screens. We not recommend it to children under 6 unless they are with adults. Now, cell phones. Let's talk about cell phones. With or without internet, none of that before 13. Starting on September 1st in France, primary school and middle school will be banned as well, also in high schools. No cell phones. Now, when it comes, that's for cell phones. In one way or another, we need to limit somewhat exposure to screens, because we had a committee on addictions, and we already noted that there's very early addiction to children to screens. So from when does addiction start? Well, we have to talk about all of this together. What do you look? What do they do there? But I'm in a classroom and I ask these children, oftentimes in high schools, it's minimum 5 hours and sometimes up to 8, 9, 10 hours a day. So that's a deep personal involvement. So how can we limit exposure to screens? So this recommendation will be implemented in many schools. What we're trying to do is also educational support other than screens. In some screens that were all screens are now pulling back. They want to go back to books in one way or another. The best way to return to books, well, there's a very serious study that shows that when you read stories to children between the ages of 1 and 3, they sort of capture this moment as the greatest moment of the day. It's the great part of the day. So if we integrate this joy of reading, well, they will listen. So if you have kids, don't deprive them. Please read to them, tell them stories. So progressive exposures and supported. This is another experience that we're conducting among sick children in hospitals. When children are suffering from lung diseases, we can have robots or tablets, and the tablet and the robot is there with them. When they want to be connected, they can connect. So if they have to have tests in school, but these media can help them very much. I've seen very wonderful performances where young children bring their robot to recess. So I think this robot is a real innovation. So this is what I have to say about screens. This is what we are doing, limiting exposures. Now social media. We are much more involved in regulation because we have the Digital Act, which is a digital regulation which is aimed to fight effectively against all illegal contents, and it's also about the use of algorithms. Here, we must admit it's not working so well, so we need your own experiences about algorithms. Verification of the age, also that's important, because we need to check person's age based on facial recognition. That works more or less well. It's not so easy to recognize a person's age based on their face. So we're trying to use other types of tools. And here we need your own feedback. Once again, we need you. Now, the Ministry of Education is adapting programs where you have mandatory classes in schools to the use of social media. So you don't watch just anything. But that can never be told to them enough. Really, that has to be part of our education. When we met the first time, the two of us, at the time we were talking about bullying. The Ministry of Education had a key program. So voluntary denunciations, voluntary involvement of teachers, and you can be recognized in a high school or middle school. The management of a school or high school, middle school has to create programs to fight against cyberbullying. We're continuing, of course, to fight against bullying, cyberbullying, and we fund a toll-free number, and thanks to this toll-free number, you can suppress content. At any time of the day, you can suppress content that you launched yourselves, sending pictures. The trauma to young people is then when they can't delete these pictures. So how can you delete things easily? We also have programs for high teenagers. We have public spaces in France, and so you can go work with professionals who support them. So I met many platform managers, and they're really nice with me there, but it's not always followed through. So it's really important for them to hear us today, to have more moderators. So they need to provide us some support. So remind this principle that it's illegal. What is illegal in the real world is also illegal in the virtual world. Also, about people being anonymous. You're never really anonymous on a social media. In one way or another, you can be checked and verified. Sometimes you can be quite surprised. You have the impression that that's anonymous, but oftentimes it's not the case. So you have to check what is behind that. And finally, like you, I'm very excited, dear Melania, very enthusiastic about AI, but at the same time, I'm fascinated and worried. So my first thoughts, these dangers could be huge. A general reflection is taking place in France about marking. Do we need a sort of a logo to say this content or say this or that? In communications, press statements, anything that is done by AI, that is something to think about. How can children figure things out if we ourselves can't figure this out, what is AI and what is not? So look at solutions altogether. So I say fascination, but concern at the same time. I do know that I am the United States, a country that I love very much. And here, we are the country of free speech, but I think that liberty does have some rules. We have to be free, but adapt to certain codes. So I believe in these codes. Too many young people are suffering, and they do not tell us, but they send signals, very strong signals from young people and teenagers. So it's up to us to answer them. Let's answer them all together. Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be back.
You know, it's very weird when you see how other countries are approaching AI. For the most part, what we're looking to do in this country is use AI to improve upon things. And it seems like other countries want to use AI to stop progress. A lot of what she just said, Macron's wife, a lot of what she just said was how to stifle things, how to shut things up, how we can verify this. It sounds like they want to use AI to be more intrusive. I didn't hear much about how to, improve things, how to make kids more successful. It was funny this afternoon, I was talking to Ashley and she was on her way to my, oh my gosh, 11-year-old granddaughter, and she was doing a presentation in school today. And her presentation was she had to start a business, create a business, and get funding for the business. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel a little palpitation coming. I was so happy that she was learning that in grade school, how to start a business, how to get out there and raise money, and then how to sell your product. And I was stoked, absolutely stoked. Not the same old crap, but actually start a business. And she started a business and had to learn, a lower level idea on how to put a business plan together and then sell it, raise money. I'm like, that's what we should be encouraging young people to do. Not sit there and scroll all day long where they get bad necks because they're just doom scrolling over and over. I loved it. I love progress. I love business. I love trying to do anything where people can improve themselves in their position in life. And AI is going to help that. Let me hit up SV because I think he's got a story. Look, while we're waiting, President Trump's feed has not come up yet. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. What do you got?
Hey, Barry, how are you doing?
Good, brother. You got a story for us, I hear.
Yeah, breaking. Trump FHFA Director Bill Pulte has just issued 2 new criminal referrals against good old Big Tish for home insurance fraud. One referral is now in Florida, as opposed to a deep blue jurisdiction, my state, filled with corrupt Democrats. Let's hold Big Tish accountable.
Big Letty might see some accountability. How in the hell are they going to do that? I mean, the properties are in New York and Virginia. How do you get a criminal referral in Florida unless was there another property down here?
It doesn't say. I can do some grokking on it.
Yeah, because if she committed mortgage fraud and it was in Virginia, unless it's a part of the whole conspiracy thing that they're already looking at down here. I don't know how they would encompass that, but they already have the grand juries here in Fort Lauderdale and Fort Pierce, and maybe they can somehow tie it into the same conspiracy. I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe.
I don't know. Judges seem to do whatever the heck they want these days. So
yeah. Now it's 7:30. He was supposed to come out at 7. Let me know. Hit me up if you see him come out. But I've got all the feeds are still dark. So let's get back to this.
Thank you so much, Brigitte. Yes, we will start talking about cyberbullying in first administration. We stay in touch, and we had the great success. We'll take a down act, and we're moving forward. We have some incredible initiatives and also legislation in the works, and I want to congratulate you and everything what you did in your own country.
Okay, thank you so much. With you, we are best.
We are
like
best.
You want. Be best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm pleased to yield the floor to Royal Highness, the distinguished representative of Kingdom of Morocco. Thank you.
The Kingdom of Morocco commands the visionary leadership of the First Lady of the United States of America for launching this critical coalition. Morocco is honored to be participating in this coalition, which reflects a shared understanding. Preparing our children for the digital age is not just a national duty, it is a shared global responsibility. We need to act together now, or the gap between those who benefit from technology and those who are left behind will grow wider. Technology must empower people. It must reduce, not increase, inequality. Within the framework of the Fostering the Future Together coalition, the Kingdom of Morocco pledges to expand and reinforce existing national digital protection platforms, as well as expand national digital literacy and inclusion programs. Additionally, the Kingdom of Morocco is very willing to share its best practices and national experience on child digital protection with partners in the African continent in order to support collective learning and foster international cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you, Princess Hasna. I now invite Her Highness of the United Arab Emirates to take the floor.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Melania Trump, the First Lady of the United States of America, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to begin by conveying the best wishes of UAE First Lady, Her Highness Sheikha Fatma bint Mbarak, the mother of our nation, to all of you. and to our special appreciation to First Lady Melania Trump for her championship of the initiative, Fostering the Future Together. We are united here today in the belief that the future of the world will not be shaped in labs and boardrooms alone, but by the decisions we make for our children in our homes and countries and the world as a whole. As a result of the breathtaking development of advanced technology in recent years, we now stand at a turning point in the history of our race. The most critical question is this now: how can we ensure that technology remains in the service of humanity and especially our children? From the founding of our country, the leadership of United Arab Emirates believed that the true wealth of nations is not measured by the resources they possess, but by the minds of their people, minds capable of innovation and of shaping the future. The UAE has worked to integrate AI technologies into its educational system. We believe we owe it to our children to ensure they are fully AI literate. And instead of just adopting AI as something that has been developed elsewhere, we believe it is critical that we play an active role in developing and using this technology. As a sovereign nation, we have to shape the global debate around how to harness its potential. The UAE is a major stakeholder in this field. When President Donald Trump met with United Arab Emirates President His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan during his historic visit to the UAE in May 2025, the two leaders agreed on joint projects worth more than $1.4 trillion in AI space. The UAE, under the leader of our president, is committed to working with the US and other great nations here today to promote the use of AI and advanced technologies in education and build a learning environments that empower children to become innovators, creators, and leaders in the world of the future. Once again, I would like to thank our gracious host, First Lady Melania Trump, for her vision and leadership in bringing us together today, and to express the full support of United Arab Emirates for her initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Highness. My best wishes to First Lady as well. Thank you. I would like to call for Mrs. Marta Nowraszka, the First Lady of Republic of Poland.
Esteemed First Lady Melania Trump, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me here today. And now I will switch to my mother tongue and first speak Polish.
Today's meeting is about one of the most important issues of our time, children in new technologies. We live in a reality where technology became part of childhood for the young people. Technology is not an addition, it's the everyday life. It's a chance, but it's also a responsibility for all of us. As a mother, I strongly understand how important it is that the children were safe and had the smart support of the adults. I would like to support the importance of safety of children online, as well as giving equal chances to everybody in education and development. First of all, safety. Children and youth spend more and more time online, often lack the tools to identify risk in a proper way. We're talking about cyberbullying, addiction, dangerous contacts, but also about the manipulation of information or the loss of the sense of privacy. These are really experiences for young people. They often remain invisible to adults, parents, and teachers. That is why it's so important that we do not leave children alone in a digital world. Today, children are often present in the digital world before adults are fully prepared to guide them safely through it. In Poland, we also are observing the phenomena and see how important it is to raise children's awareness and provide support for parents and teachers in this field and the teachers in this area. We need an approach which combines several elements. Education, so that children know how to use technology safely. Support, so that the parents and teachers feel competent and confident in this role. Responsibility, including on the part of the technology developers, who should consider the well-being of children as early as in the phase of designing their solutions. Children's safety in the digital world cannot be an optional extra. It must be the foundation. The second key field is providing equal opportunities. Technology gives us tools that were out of reach until recently. It opens access to education regardless of place of residence, financial situation, or family background. It can support individual pace of learning and help discover talents. A child from a small town should have the same opportunities as a child in a big city. And today, thanks to the technology, this is real. But at the same time, we know that the access to devices or internet alone is not enough. Skills are key. The ability to think critically, use information in a wise way, and understand how technology works. The ability to create, not just consume, content. We recognize that the development of digital competencies is becoming one of the most important educational challenges in Poland as well. If we do not take care of these competencies, technology may consolidate inequalities instead of reducing them. That's why investing in infrastructure, we have to invest in people, teachers, students, and parents. Ladies and gentlemen, we face a challenge today that is global in nature. Technology knows no borders, and this is why our response must also be a collective one. Cooperation and the exchange of experiences are crucial today. I believe that with a responsible approach, we can create a digital environment that is both safe and fair, one that protects children, but also gives them the equal opportunity for development. I believe that together we can ensure that technology is, above all, a tool for children's development, not a source of danger. It's up to our decisions of the digital world what will become of it as a space of opportunity for the young generation or a source of new divisions. It's our duty to ensure that it is, above all, a space for safe and wise development. Thank you very much.
Okay, so these countries are all coming together on how to use AI, how to put rules around AI. And if you find yourself on the side of the next two people who are going to be speaking here, then you might have a problem. That you might have a real problem. The first gentleman here who's going to speak about AI, well, you'll recognize him.
But when we talk about AI and robotics, we're not just talking about the economy. AI is already reshaping how we as human beings relate to each other. According to a recent poll by Common Sense Media, 72% of American teenagers say they have used AI for companionship, and more than half do so regularly. What does it mean for young people to form friendships with AI and become more and more lonely and isolated from other human beings? Everybody understands we have a major mental health crisis for our young people right now. I fear that AI could make it even worse.
So he thinks that AI could make it worse for people who have mental issues, children who have mental issues. When the hell did this country stop progress for the people who can't do something? Well, maybe we shouldn't have track because there's some kids who are disabled who can't run. Maybe we should not do anything like have, mazes or any kind of accomplishment because there are kids who can't see. These people, it makes no sense. They're trying to amplify the minority of people instead of amplifying the majority of people who want to succeed. We need to stop AI because, it might not be fair for somebody who has mental issues. I'm sorry. I think that's what a parent is supposed to do, not government. If the parent is the person who should be working on what little Johnny or Susie are doing with AI, not the government. I could be wrong. Maybe you guys feel it should be governmental. I think as a parent, you should be able to tell your kid, hey, listen, you can't do this or do that. I remember being young and I was watching my mom or dad cook, and I decided I was going to put a frying pan up on the stove. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm going to cook. No, you're not. I'll let you know when you're old enough to cook. Wow, that's what a parent does. But then again, they had another woman who had something to say.
And that is what we're here to do today. Unfortunately, the leaders of this industry have repeated time and time again that they view working people as an endless, untapped market to be manipulated and exploited, that they would sell our country out if it meant that they could turn a profit. And it is no surprise that in the 4 years since ChatGPT was released, we have seen AI deployed at a massive scale to create Big Brother-like surveillance. Every day, Americans are seeing videos of ICE agents waving phones into crowds, threatening that if they use their First Amendment rights, U.S. citizens using their First Amendment rights, that they will be added to some vague database that the American people have not consented to nor are knowledgeable about.
I was in Washington, D.C. Do you know, walking through these buildings, how many cameras snap your picture, probably do facial recognition as you're walking around? I bet you can't even go to your local 7-Eleven without being on camera. You definitely can't go to a bank. You go inside of a school, bowling alley. Everywhere you go, from the time you step out of your house, somebody is taking a picture of you doing something somewhere. Go to the mall, you're on camera. Pump gas, you're on camera. I would prefer for somebody to tell me when we're not being surveilled. When are we not being, filmed or pictures taken of us? Where is this place where you can go where people aren't assembling photos of you? And let's not be stupid. We've seen the shows. We've seen what's going on. There's satellites floating everywhere around us taking pictures. Yet she's trying to make it a problem for ICE. Oh, they're putting you in some sort of database. I'm pretty sure every single one of us who steps outside into the real world is on some database somewhere. Think I'm wrong? Go break a window. Go break a window, try to steal something, and leave. And if you thought you got away, wait until somebody comes to your door, knocks on it, and go, hey, we got video surveillance of you breaking a window. I didn't know that. And then we saw you check into a hotel, and then we saw you, go get something to eat. But oh no, it's the bad ICE people that you got to worry about.
Companies like Palantir are mining endlessly the data and privacy of the American people, keeping track of everything that they say and do, and sending it all to a militarized and centralized government. When you take the subway, when you share a TikTok, when you talk to your Alexa at home, they are collecting your data and figuring out new ways to weaponize it. And now they are using AI tools to automate this so that it is not only pervasive, but that it is effortless. We must sound the alarm now. And because of this surveillance of the American people is not going to stop, we must stop it. All of this harm has occurred not in spite of, but because of the absence of federal legislation to regulate AI. This is not.
I wonder if she would be happy if we disconnected payroll from the ability of the IRS to see how much money you're making. I mean, I wonder if it'd be okay to roll back the regulation that says if you deposit $10,000 in cash, the bank's got to, hey, yeah, we got to let the IRS know you just deposited a bunch of money. Oh, that kind of surveillance is okay because you want to, control the cash. But you're worried about people running around through the street and all the crap that they're doing. Oh, we can't have them looking at protesters. That's what she just said. Every other aspect of your life that you are on camera somewhere and they're using AI to do everything from market you to check out your history to see if you're a criminal, that's okay. Just don't do it to our protesters. And then Bernie's like, yeah, and AI is bad for people who don't know what AI is. I can't believe I hear this stuff from these people. They're absolutely insane. Let's see who the next speaker is. As of right now, President Trump has not come out. So we'll continue.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nawrocka. Dziękuję.
The Republic of Panama to take the floor.
Buenos días, honorable señora Melania Trump, primera dama de los Estados Unidos de América, distinguidas primeras damas y caballeros. Number 7, Spanish.
Thank you, First Lady Melania Trump, for bringing us together in this coalition and for bringing us to the White House today to talk about the well-being of children in the digital age. You are placing this topic exactly where it should be placed, at the highest level, so that we may give it our collective attention. Today I am here as a mother of 4 children and a grandmother of 7. And also as the First Lady of a small country, a country of a few more than 4.
You can have a seat. The president is going to address us now, but I did want to give you one more surprise, one more record broken. We were just talking about it a moment ago, and he said, go ahead and tell the people. Last year at this event, we broke the all-time record for the spring dinner at $35 million. And tonight, because of your generosity and because you're a part of this team, we raised $37 million. New record. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, that's a lot of money. Congratulations. Well, we have a hot party. We have a very hot party, and we have a group that likes to see our country in trouble. And we're going to do something about it. But I want to thank you for that warm welcome, Mike. You guys are great. Richard and Mike work so hard. And thank you to all the friends and supporters and true American patriots here tonight. You know, Richard just told me backstage that we have more donors here tonight in terms of not only the dollars, but in terms of the individual people. We want to thank you. It's a record. And it's a nice place, by the way. It looks nice. Very nice. They don't build too many of them like this anymore. But with your help this November, we'll defeat the radical left Democrats and we'll win a midterm victory like our country has never seen for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but a president who wins, Republican or Democrat, almost always does poorly in the midterms. Nobody knows why, even if it's a successful presidency. And there are those that say this has been the first, really the best first year ever for a president. And I agree with them, I must argue. I agree with them 100%, but I do. We did a lot. We settled 8 wars, people sort of forget. And we're winning another one, I tell you. We're winning so big, nobody's ever seen anything like we're doing in the Middle East with Iran. And they are negotiating, by the way, and they want to make a deal so badly, but they're afraid to say it because they figure they'll be killed by their own people. They're also afraid they'll be killed by us. There's never been a head of a country that wanted that job less than being the head of Iran. I don't want it. We listen to some of the things they say. We hear them very clearly. They say, I don't want it. We'd like to make you the next supreme leader. No, thank you. I don't want it. But I want to express my gratitude to the tremendous leader in this effort. And really, he's just an incredible speaker. He's going to go down as one of the great ever. Mike Johnson. And the boss and his family, by the way, Kelly. And because of the fact that these lights are so bright, I can't see a thing in the audience, but what the hell, I know you're all friends. Otherwise, I'd get out of here very quickly. But what a job he's done. You know, think of it. When we have a majority of 3, we feel so thrilled. Then it goes down sometimes to 2. Then it goes down to 1. And then it goes back up to 2 or 3, and we feel rich again. It's crazy, and we're getting all of this passed. Think about the great, big, beautiful bill. Think of that. The great, big, beautiful bill, we got it done. And remember, that was a 4-year deal. That was 4 years. I said at the time, and Mike agreed, and John Thune agreed. We agreed, let's get everything done, let's put it in one, and everybody said we were crazy, would never get it passed. And that was 4 years worth of goodies. But now that we have that, we're going back for more. We're going back for more pretty quickly. I think you're going to see some pretty good things which we should win. But of course, the thing that we should win, and who would believe that you can't get voter ID because all of the Democrats, every single one of them, they stick together. They have lousy policy. They're not good people, but they stick together. They have horrible policy for this country. But they're like glue, the way they stick together, and you have to respect that. We have some very interesting things in store, and I think we're going to have a great election, despite the fact that if you look historically, for whatever reason, you win the presidency, Republican, Democrat. So in 50 years, it's 2. Think of that. In 100 years, it's 4. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Nobody's done more than we have in this last short period of time. Nobody. It doesn't make sense. I've gone to people, I've asked the greatest political leaders in the country, why is it that whoever wins the presidency, not Republican, not Democrat, whoever wins the presidency doesn't do well in the midterms? And most people can't explain it. The professionals try and give you an answer. The Democrats would say, if you asked them that question, it's racism. But it pertains to you too. Oh, well, in that case, it's not racism. They always use racism. Whenever they ask a question, like voter ID, why don't you want, it's racist. Do they ever have another answer other than racism? And no, it's unbelievable. It's not racism. It's voter ID. It's important for our country. And proof of citizenship is important for our country, very. And men playing in women's sports should not be allowed. That's very important. And transgender for everybody, the mutilation of our children should not be allowed. And open borders should not be allowed. Open borders where the world is allowed to pour into our country. Shouldn't be allowed. And because of the rules, it's really, in all fairness, you've been doing great, but because of the rules of the Senate, it's very hard for them to get the number. And again, you have those Democrats, they stick together. Think of it, they vote against voter ID. They vote against proof of citizenship. They vote against it. Now, I happen to be a fan of no mail-in ballots, even though I won Florida, which is mail-in ballots by a massive number, the highest number in history. And I won other places. But in California and other states, they cheat so badly with that. They send 38 million ballots out, and of the 38 million, they go to Democrats a hell of a lot. Democrats get sometimes 6 or 7 ballots in one household, and Republicans are calling for their ballot. They're saying, please send me my ballot. Very unfair, but I hate that. I hate mail-in ballots. I've won with mail-in ballots, but I hate mail-in ballots because basically it's a way of cheating. Jimmy Carter, the single best thing he did, including his presidency, no, it wasn't giving away the Panama Canal for $1. That was not the best. But he did that. He did a lot of other things, but he did do one thing. He had a commission with Scoop Jackson and some other very respected people. And the conclusion was never allow mail-in ballots, because if you do, there'll be massive cheating. And that's what happens. We can't do it. So we have to do something about that. But that poll's not at 99%. That poll's at about 75%, 80%. But voter ID polls at 96%, 97%, 98% with Republicans. 86% just came out with both Republicans and Democrats. The only one that fight it are the Democrat leaders because they want to cheat. The only reason you say, that's the only reason, I don't want voter identification with a picture. I always add with a picture. It's true. And the only reason you don't want that is because you want to cheat, and they do cheat, and we can't let them get away with it. So we have to keep that fight going. We have to get voter ID, and we have to get proof of citizenship. It's so important, one of the most important things we can do. So I want to thank House Majority Leader, a brave guy. Oh, boy, I was with him that night where he wasn't supposed to make it, Steve Scalise. He's great. What a strong guy. Where are you, Steve? We love Steve. Oh, there he is. We love Steve. What a thing he went through. And then he went through another battle, too, and he's a tough cookie. He outlasted it all. I was with his wife, his family that night, that horrible night, and the doctor told me, very, very small chance. And here he is. I actually think he's a better-looking man now than he was a few years ago. I actually think he's better looking. I don't know what the hell he did. I think he had the greatest doctors in history. He's a better-looking man now. Also, another great-looking guy. He was born good-looking, and he's got an even better-looking wife. His wife is a winner. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. Where is Tom? Where is Tom? Hello, Tom. He's great. Great guy. Conference Chair, Lisa McLean. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Darren. NRCC Chairman Richard Hudson, who does such a good job all the time. All the time. Deputy Chairman of the NRCC, a guy who worked for me for 6 years. And when they said, we want to take him, could we share him? Then I knew he was good. And then his congressional seat came up in Georgia where he lived, and he said, sir, my dream is to be a congressman. Would it be okay if I ran? I said, no, I don't want you to run. I want you to stay with me. Please stay with me. He said, please. I said, all right, I'll let you run. Brian Jack, he's done so great. Brian Jack. It's always a tough name to have somebody. You ever have the names Brian Jack? You know, these, I call them the 2 first names. You have 2 first names? People would say, you know, that guy Jack Bryan is fantastic. I said, who the hell is Jack Bryan? I had that the other day. He was telling me what a great guy Jack Bryan is. I say, who is he? He's a congressman. He said, listen, I know the congressman. There's nobody named Jack Bryan. But he was talking about Brian Jack. Brian, you're a tremendous guy. Really understands, loves politics, loves being a congressman. And dozens of Republican warriors in the House. You're incredible people, and you are warriors, and you have to take a lot of fake news like I do. We take so much fake news. You know, if you listen to the news, you think we're losing a war in Iran where we're decimating the other side. I mean, the better ones have us doing okay. We are decimating They've got no Navy. They've got no anything. The whole thing is, and then you watch the news. I said, oh, I thought we were doing better than that. The fake news really has to change because people, you know, when you can win an election with 94% negative stories and you win it in a landslide, there's something wrong with the news because it shouldn't be happening. And, you know, they used to have 96% approval rating. They just edged out at 14. I'm extremely proud of that, actually. I've exposed them for being fake news. And we are going to hopefully change that because I think you really need great news to be great, and they are not great, and they're not leading us to greatness, but we are going to lead us to greatness. We're also joined tonight by many of our terrific MAGA majority candidates, a group of new candidates from across the country who will help grow our margin in the House, including Jay Feely, great football player, Kevin Lincoln, Joe Mitchell, Lori Buckhout. Hi, Lori. Mike LaPetri. Tano Tijerina and Eric Flores, all new and all leading and all going to win big. Thank you very much. Welcome to a group of outstanding people. And let's get them all. You know what? We have to get them across the finish line. We've raised more money than we ever have, and we're raising a lot more. You know, I did something I haven't done this as a candidate. I saw the great job that Mike had done, and they had raised a lot of money for the evening. And the greatest thing about being president is you don't have to make contributions, you know? Nobody ever asks you for money. They want your endorsement, but they don't want... Nobody ever asks for money. It's great. I said, it's the only thing where I save money in this business. Nobody ever asked, but I saw Mike the other night. I did something that I never do. And I don't do this bragging. I do it because it's fun to talk about. He was close to raising $20 million. And I said, I'll give you $1 million so you hit your mark. I gave him $1 million. I never do that in politics. I never do it. But I do it for him. And we're going to do a lot more, by the way. I'm going to do a lot more. We're going to raise, we've already raised a lot of money, but I'm doing a lot more because we got to win. Our country's at stake, really. Our country's at stake. These people are crazy that we're dealing with. The State of the Union speech. You don't mind if I go off this crazy teleprompter a little bit? You ever, you know, it's boring when you do the teleprompter thing. Well, it's very boring. But no, it's, we had the State of the Union speech the other night. I announced all these heroes, and I announced women that have gone through tragedy, like the incredible woman who lost her daughter to a maniac when he slashed her from behind, right? And I say, please, please, say hello. And she stands up devastated. And the Democrats are sitting like dead people, like dead. No movement, no heart, no anything. Then I announce a Congressional Medal of Honor being bestowed on the captain, a helicopter pilot who helped us win in Venezuela by landing a helicopter when his leg was practically shot off, with blood pouring down. You know, they land the big Chinooks, a lot of people, a lot of great soldiers in that helicopter. And he was shot from underneath with machine gun fire. Leg was practically chopped out. And if you know about helicopters, you land the helicopters with your legs. And he had legs that were not in good shape. And he landed it. He was high up, and he was able to land it exactly where it was supposed to land. Without that, the mission would have been a failure, probably. Had to land exactly in that spot, exactly on time. And he got it, and then he said, okay, I'm going to pass out now. Take over. Can you imagine that? And we gave him the Congressional Medal of Honor, and the Democrats sat there without movement. And then we gave another Congressional Medal of Honor to a 100-year-old hero, 100 years, who was a legend in the military for what he had done. We gave him the Congressional Medal of Honor, 100 years old, and the Democrats sat there emotionless, no clapping, nobody standing. Republicans, you did very well. You were going wild for all of them. Now, at the end of the evening, they were clapping on everything I said because they were called in by people watching on television. Did you see they were passing around notes? And they were saying, you guys are being killed tonight. Start clapping. And they were clapping for everything. Everything I said, even good Republican things, they were clapping wildly. But it was too late. They have no heart. And now you see what they're doing. They're just creating chaos. They want to create chaos. It's all they're good at, creating chaos. They can't do policy, no good. But they're doing it for two reasons. Number one is they want to deflect from all of the tremendous success that we're having in this military operation. I won't use the word war because they say if you use the word war, that's maybe not a good thing to do. They don't like the word war because you're supposed to get approval. So I'll use the word military operation, which is really what it is. It's called a military decimation. But they don't like the good publicity. They don't like to see us succeed. They want to see our country fail. And also, what they really want is they want illegal immigrants to come in. Criminals, doesn't matter, because they want to get their votes. They think they're going to get their votes, and we're not going to let this happen. We're not going to let our country be destroyed by these people. So 16 months ago, with the help of many people in this room, we saved our country in the most important electoral victory in American history. Could be. Let me ask you, let's do a poll, fake poll. We'll do a real poll. We're tired of those fake polls. I get so many. Although I got one yesterday from CNN. What is the percentage of people in MAGA, which is most of the Republican Party, by the way, that support the president? The number was 100%. Do you believe it? In fact, he went wild. Harry, he went wild. It may be the last time he ever does the show, but these are okay. No, it was 100%. Even I was surprised at that. That was pretty good. But we won all 7 swing states by millions and millions of votes. We won the Electoral College by 312 to 226. We won the popular vote for the first time of any Republican in many decades. And biggest of all is we won, that's where you see all red, except for the 2 little blue lines on the edge on the map. We won 86% of all counties in America, 2,700 to 525. That's pretty good. That's what they call a slaughter. And together, the Trump administration and our Republican majorities in Congress won a mandate from the American people. And every day since, we've been fighting to keep our promises and to, in the true sense, the greatest expression, the greatest motto, call it a logo, call it whatever you want, the greatest phrase in the history of politics, make America great again. It really is the greatest. It's the greatest. And we probably have to start, we'll never abandon that phrase, but we'll probably have to start changing, because when you say make America great again, that means it's not great now. We've made America great. We've rebuilt our military. You know, I rebuilt our military in the first term. I didn't think I'd use it this much, but we've used it, and there's no military like it anywhere in the world. We have the greatest military anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. And with the help of our Republican warriors that are right before me in the House, we ended the illegal alien invasion of our country, passed the largest border security investment in history, and achieved the strongest and most secure border on record. I built 1,000 miles of wall, and without that wall, we could have never done what we did. And for 10 months in a row, this is outside, I mean, this is the facts. In fact, these numbers are given by people that they say are predominantly Democrat. They're the ones that make it up. For 10 months in a row, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States of America. Think of that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We've also accomplished the largest reduction in illegal drugs in history, in the history of our country. Think of that. with the flow. Deadly fentanyl across our border is down by 61%. Think of that, 61, not good enough, but I'll tell you what, it's down 98% coming in by water. Do you notice that? And we're trying to find out who the 2% are, because we think they may be the bravest people on earth. They are brave people. Either that or they don't watch television. One or the other. I think it's that they don't watch television. Down 98% by water. We had a lot of it coming in by water. And now, if you watch closely, you'll watch that same treatment being given to land. Land being much easier than water. We did the water first. That forces them onto the land, and then we're going to do the land, and you'll be very happy about it. We've reduced drugs coming into this country by an astounding amount. Now the Democrats have shut down the Department of Homeland Security in an attempt to return to open borders where criminals come in from all over the world. From the Congo, they come. You know, the Congo opened its jails, released all of its prisoners into the United States of America through the totally open southern border, sleepy Joe Biden border. The TSA agents have been hurt badly by the Democrats, who made 3 different deals with us over the last short period of time, breaking the original one and then breaking the current ones because they don't want to settle. They want chaos. As I said, so there are great military triumphs against Iran can't be displayed on television because they're displaying airports. But I have to tell you, they did one thing that's been helpful. We decided to use our great patriots of ICE. These people are great. They have endured so much punishment, all because they want to get murderers, drug dealers, people who are totally mentally insane, many of the worst criminals in the world, get them out of our country. And in so doing, I sent ICE to the airports yesterday, and they have been so great. They have been so great. And you know what's happened? And they didn't need any rehabilitation, but they did in terms of the fake news. And they're doing such an unbelievable job at the airports that they had one line. It was 4 hours yesterday, and today was a half an hour. Big difference. And if we have to, we're going to send in the National Guard if we need to, because we only, we have 6,000 ICE agents, and we have 40,000 of the other people that they're helping out, some of who really were forced because the Democrats don't want to pay them. The Democrats don't want to pay them. You have to remember that. The radical left Democrats need to get DHS back and open immediately together. We're going to make with them, not the Democrats, because they've gone out of their way to make our country unsafe. And remember that, according to them, it's a war. They're doing this during a war. They're doing this during a war. We're not supposed to be doing it. But we're going to make America totally safe again very quickly. With the largest drop. We had the largest drop in violent crime in our country, despite all of these criminals that have been allowed in, murderers. Despite all, think of it, 11,888 murderers allowed into our country, many of which, more than 50%, killed more than one person. Thank you very much, Joe Biden. Thank you to Kamala, who was the border czar, who never went to the border and never made one phone call to Border Patrol. The Border Patrol is incredible. They've never had a phone call from her. 4 years. But they get phone calls from me every single day. How are we doing on the border? How are we doing on the border, Paul? How are we doing? How are we doing, Brandon, on the border? And we got it down to where people don't come anymore. It's obvious now. It's easy. They used to storm the fences. Now they don't come anymore because they know they're not getting in. But think of it, the murder rate, despite the fact that they allowed massive numbers of criminals into our country, is the lowest it's been in 125 years. 1900. Before my father was born. Before my father, Fred. You can walk to work. You can walk to Congress, you can walk to the Capitol, you can walk to the White House. When I came, this place was so dangerous. We were having 2 and 3 people killed every single week. Now you don't see it at all. We have actually, in a very short period of time, we've already done it, but in a very short period of time, we have one of the safe. Washington, D.C. is right now from one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in this country, is now one of the most safe cities anywhere in the country. We have done a great job. And that's not just by having great people from our military there, National Guard. It's because we removed 4,000 hardened criminals out of our city and out of their country. In some cases, they were so dangerous and so bad. They came from Biden, this guy that couldn't walk off a stage. See the stage? See how many stairs are here? All over. He could never find the stairs. And people don't want that. People want a president that's able to walk off and find the stairs. Could never. Do you ever see that? Where he looks out, oh, I'm finished. First of all, his speeches were extremely short. They lasted a matter of seconds. And then he'd walk out. Look, I couldn't stand. He was probably a nice guy. I couldn't stand this guy. You ever see the weaponization? If we look at somebody, Donald Trump is weaponizing government. We've done just the opposite, unfortunately. Unfortunately. I hope they're looking at some of these criminals that cheated on the election. I hope they're looking at them. Because what they did to us and what they did is incredible. But I looked at Biden, and he weaponized like nobody's ever been weaponized before. Me, forget about me, so many people, Republicans, many of you in the audience, Congress people, many of my friends, you were taped and your phone was taken away, right, Scott? A lot of things happened that were very bad. They weaponized. But the fake news will say, oh, Donald Trump mentioned a dirty cop named Comey, and therefore he's weaponizing government. No, they weaponized, and we're not going to let them happen. And I think Comer and all these guys, you're out there someplace, I think, because I can't see a damn thing with these stupid lights they have up. But I want to thank you, Jim Jordan, Comer. Where are those guys? Where I stand up, you deserve it. Now they have to take your recommendations. They have to take your recommendations and they have to act. They have to act. We can't just be sending out all these 100% recommendations and nothing happens. But I want to thank Speaker Johnson, the Republican Congress. We also passed the largest tax cuts in American history. Think of it. With a great, big, beautiful bill, we delivered no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Think of this. I mean, think of the no tax on tips. You know how I got that one? A lot of people hire consultants. You all pay them millions and millions of dollars. I was having dinner with a group of Republicans in Nevada, a state that we never win, right? And this waitress comes over. And I won't say she was beautiful, because if you call her beautiful, that's the end of your political career. So I refuse to say. I refuse to say that she was so beautiful. At the end of your career, it's true. If you call somebody beautiful nowadays, it's over. You resign in disgrace. So I will not say it. I said, how are you doing, Gina? Sir, it's terrible. The government's after me for tips. I said, really? Do you have, do you report your tips? It turns out the hotels pretty much report their tips. It's actually not quite as good as you would think. She said, no, sir. Sir, may I make a suggestion? What? What do you want? What do you know about politics? No, I'd like to make a suggestion. I'm voting for you, sir. You should have no tax on tips. She said, what? No tax on tips, sir. I said, say it one more time. No tax on tips, sir. I was with a group of 12 people. I got up, immediately walked outside of the restaurant where there were about 250 lunatic media. I said, ladies and gentlemen, after an exhaustive study, I have decided to have, as a very big part of my agenda, no tax on tips. This has been years in the making. And I won Nevada in a landslide. You know, I kept saying, well, the problem is she's just going to follow me up, you know. Kamala, real genius, she's going to follow me up. She waited months, and then just before the election, she said no tax on tips, and they left at her. It was over. We had the issue. We killed them on that issue. We won Nevada, which you never win. You know, Republicans don't win it very much. It was many, many years. But we had a great election. That was a great election. But I ask you this. I want to do this. Which was the bigger and more important election? Okay, I'm going to ask you, then I'm going to ask you just to cheer one way or the other. Because we had two great elections. We had three. Because 2020 was equally good, but they cheated. Millions of votes. Dirty cheats. Dirty, rotten cheaters. Which was the most important election? Which was the more glamorous? The whole thing, right? Which was the better election? I'm going to go 2016 or 2024. Ready? 2016. Whoa. 2024. Wow. Could be right. A lot of people feel that way. I mean, 2016 was unique because somebody that had never done this before won. I never did it before. I went to Washington. I didn't know anybody. I was lonely. I said, do you have any people that are any good? And some rhinos gave me some names that I didn't like too much. But we had great people. You know, we rebuilt our military. 2016, that 4-year period, we rebuilt our military. We got the largest tax cut in history, superseded now by what we did in 2024 with a great, big, beautiful bill. I love the great, big, beautiful bill. But we did a lot. We did a lot. We had a great first term, but our second term is blowing it away. It's blowing every term. So far, it's blowing every term of every president away. And soon, you know, we hit, I have to say, we're going so smooth. And I say, I hate to do it, but somebody has to. For 47 years, no president had the guts to do what you had to do. And we hit 50,000 on the Dow. Everyone said, well, 50,000 will take place in 5 or 6 years. There's no way you can do it during his term. And I did it in the first year. Then they said, you'll never reach 7,000 on the S&P, Standard & Poor's. You'll never reach 7. We did it in the first year. We would go on like a rocket ship. The market was good. Everything was good. And then I said, we're going to have to do something about Iran because they're going to have a nuclear weapon very soon, and they're crazy. They're crazy. They're out of their minds. And we have to stop them. And I say, well, we're going to take a big hit. We're going to go through this certain route, and we'll get right back here, but we have to go and stop them. Every president should have done it. I heard that today Blinken made a statement that he should have done it. Thanks a lot, Blinken. I appreciate it. Blinken is Biden's guy, I guess. Who the hell knows who he is? He's his guy. But he came out with a statement that they should have done it. They made a mistake. They should have done it, and other presidents should have done it. Obama should have done it. Obama was worse. Obama gave them the absolute right, title, and interest, gave everything to Iran. You remember that? When Bibi Netanyahu came over and begged him not to do it, he gave Iran the right to have a nuclear weapon at the highest level within a very short period of time. And I terminated that agreement as soon as I came to office. And if I didn't terminate it, that weapon would have been used 3 years ago. It would have been used a long time ago. And then we stopped it a second time with those beautiful B-2 bombers. They went in and they knocked the hell out of the nuclear potential. And if they didn't do that attack, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks to 4 weeks after the attack. But we did attack, and we obliterated the site. And we saved it there, too. We did many things. Taking out Soleimani was very important. He was an evil man, but that was a big event. We took out, in my first term, we took out Soleimani, and they never had leadership that could compete with that. He was an evil guy, but he was a real leader, and he was a very tough general. Probably wouldn't have been quite as easy, I will tell you. I don't think we would have taken us an extra day. But under our leadership, America is also highly respected again. Perhaps we are now respected like never, ever before. I don't think we have ever been as respected now. You know, if you think about it, a year and a half ago, our country was viewed as a joke. We were a joke. All over the world, they were laughing at us, how stupid we were, how weak, how pathetic. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country in the world. King of Saudi Arabia said it. He said, sir, I was in Saudi Arabia, came back with $2 trillion for our country. I came back with $2 trillion from Saudi, $2 trillion from Qatar, $2 trillion from UAE. Oh, they're great. They're all fighting. They got hit. Nobody expected they were going to get hit. It made them angry, and they came to our side immediately, all of them, and others. But I came back, and I remember the statement like yesterday. He said, sir, King of Saudi Arabia, he said, 2 years ago, you were a dead country, and now you're the hottest country in the world. Congratulations. It's true. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's nobody close. We're the most powerful military. We have the most powerful military. You saw that in Venezuela. 1 hour, the war was over. And, you know, this is a larger country now that we're fighting. But the war essentially ended a few days after we went in. We knocked out their Navy. We knocked out everything. It's amazing. We have the greatest military. We make the greatest military equipment. And now, if you notice, I said, you got to make it faster. Got to make more of it because we need it. All made in America, but we make the greatest. You know, we had an attack. 100 missiles were shot by Iran at a very important thing that we had. I won't tell you what it was for certain reasons. 100 missiles going 2,000 miles an hour were coming at this element of importance, tremendous power and importance. And of the 100 missiles coming at us, 100 missiles were immediately shot down, shot out of the air, fall into the sea. Think of that. Not one missile got through. That was the Patriot system. That's great. We have the best equipment in the world. We have the best military, the most powerful, most lethal military in the world by far. Earlier this year, in a stunning display of American military strength and skill, we apprehended the outlaw Victor, you know this, from Venezuela, named Nicolas Maduro, and brought him to face American justice. He's been killing people for a long period of time with drugs and everything else, but killing people, a violent man. We went in and we got him out of his house, and his house was located in a military base with thousands of soldiers, and we went in so violently that everybody said, we'll pass. Then they came back and waved goodbye as he flew out in a helicopter. The soldiers said, bye, leave us alone. Thanks to the men and women in the room, we made a $1 trillion investment in the United States Armed Forces, and we now have the strongest and most powerful military that the world has ever seen. Nobody close, nobody close. And the situation in Iran is also a stark reminder of just how high the stakes are for the midterm elections. If Democrats had won in 2024, our country would right now be a nation in terminal decline. I don't even know if we'd have a nation right now. The spirit was so bad. You know, something I'm very proud of. If you go back a year and a half, you know, we couldn't get people to join the military, the police forces, nothing. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, Space Force, they wouldn't join. They didn't want to join during Biden. His last year, they had the worst recruitment in the history of our country. 1 year later, we set records on recruitment. We had the greatest recruitment in the history of our country. The spirit was back. But Iran would long ago have had a nuclear weapon if it weren't for us. The entire world would be under mortal threat, and the prospects for peace in the Middle East would be absolutely shattered forever. And forget the Middle East, we would have a cloud over us too, because he would have used it, and they would have used it on us without hesitation. Our military would be woke, politicized, starved for resources. ICE would be effectively abolished. They would have terminated ICE so that all these murderers and drug dealers and killers and the mentally insane would be in our country instead of being shipped back to their country like only ICE could do. These are great patriots that have been abused. And I said before, and I mean it, the people are saying, what nice people. Now, I must tell you, when I first sent them in 2 days ago, I looked and they were wearing masks. And I think they have to because a lot of people are up. But in an airport, no. I said, fellas, do you mind taking off your masks in the airport? And they took them off. And people said, wow, these are nice guys. And they're helping the people with their bags. They're moving things along. It's a beautiful thing to see. People are starting to say, ICE, you're nice guys. We really appreciate it. So the Democrats, in their violence and viciousness, have done us a favor. But the cost of energy and electricity would be the highest ever, which it was prior to this administration. Inflation would be soaring to country-wrecking levels. You know, we had the highest, I inherited, the highest inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years, what difference does it make? It's the highest in the history of our country. And our nation would be ravaged by rampant crime, woke lunacy, and transgender for everybody. That's where we would have been. People would have been flowing into our countries at the same levels they were destroying. They were destroying our country. And, you know, we are a party, remember this, it's okay, it's a pretty obvious statement, I think, but we're a party of common sense. We are the party of common sense. Because whether you're conservative or liberal, it's really not about, it's really common sense. You need borders. You need education. You want to buy a house. We're the party of common sense. We don't want to have men playing in women's sports. You got to look at some of the records. Weightlifting, a record that stood for 18 years in the women's category, was shattered by a male who came in and broke the record by 128 pounds. You think that's good? That's not good. And he was a lousy weightlifter. As a man, he was a loser. Can you believe it? He felt awfully good. She felt awfully good about herself. But from now until November, we're going to fight, and I'm going to personally campaign for every one of you. We're going to go to win in midterms. We're going to have even bigger majorities in the House and the Senate than we have today. Going to help all of you. Americans saw the true and craven nature of congressional Democrats during my State of the Union, and we're not going to let that happen again. They really are. They're a party, and it's terrible to talk. I want it to be the old way where they got, you know, Democrats, Republicans used to get together, have lunch, and then they'd fight a little bit, and, you know, but it doesn't seem to be happening that way. And this is before me. Because if you go back to Obama, he was a great divider. He divided this nation. He was a lousy president. The worst president in history was Biden. But Obama was a terrible president. He was a divider. He did so many bad things. But they're the party of fraudsters, criminals, radicals, illegal aliens, high taxes, and putting America last. That's what they are. They put America last. Republicans are the party for every hardworking patriot. And we do something very much different than them. We put America first. Put America first. So as we rebuild, and it's going to come back very quickly. It's already back. I mean, it's back. It went down a little bit. I actually thought when I went on this excursion, as I call it, excursion into hell, excursion into a terrible place, when I went on to do something that for 47 years should have been done by any of the other presidents, and you heard numerous of them said they wished they did it, but they didn't have the guts to do it. We had no choice. But I thought it would be much worse. I thought that the energy prices, oil price would go up higher. I thought the stock market would go somewhat lower. But it didn't matter to me. It's short term. What we had to do is get rid of the cancer. We had to cut out the cancer. The cancer was Iran with a nuclear weapon. And we've cut it out. Now we're going to finish it off. As we rebuild the greatest economy in history, a top priority must be to bring down the cost of living. And we were doing that, and we are doing that at a record clip. You know, they had a phrase, all these phrases that they came up with, like, they're the ones that caused prices to go up. They had the highest prices, and we're bringing down the prices with the worst inflation, which has come way down. You know, the last 2 months, or last 3 months, actually, inflation was 1.4%. But we're ending high prices with tax cuts, deregulation, and frankly, again, the words common sense. For years, big insurance companies have gotten rich with our government, giving them hundreds of billions of dollars. And under the Great Healthcare Plan, that's what we call it, capital G, capital H, capital P, the Great Healthcare Plan, I'm urging Congress to halt all payments to big insurance companies, which are literally controlling the Democrat Party. They have total control over the Democrats. That's why you can't make a deal with them. The insurance companies have taken in trillions of dollars. I want this money to go directly to the American people so they can buy their own health care. And it's going to be better care at a lower cost. And you guys can do it. You can do it. Every time I mention that, it's like it goes viral. Give the money directly to the people so they can buy their own. You'll pay much less. They'll pay much less. But the Democrats won't do it because they're totally in the pocket of the insurance companies. They made, how about stocks that have gone up 1,400, 1,500, 1,700%? As part of this plan, we also need to maximize price transparency. It's a big deal. Doesn't sound very glamorous, but it is. In addition, it's time to codify my most favored nation's policy on drug prices into law. We have lowered the price of drugs by 50, 60, 70, and 80, and 90%. And there's another way of figuring. You could also say, depending on the way you phrase the statement, 400, 500, 600, 700%. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. I got other countries to do it with the threat of tariffs. I said, if you don't approve it, because I got the insurance companies to do it, the health, we needed insurance, we needed everything. No other president tried to get this done. But basically, very simply, our drug costs, prescription drugs, were far more expensive than any other country anywhere in the world, the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world. But under the deals I negotiated, we go from the highest price ever paid to the lowest price in the world. It's numbers that nobody's ever seen. It doesn't even get covered in the newspapers. We got to talk about it. That alone should win the midterms. But nobody talks about it. That's why I talk about it. Think of it. I lowered prices by 50, 60, 70, 80%. Nobody even wants to write about it. That's because the fake news is fixed. It's rigged. It's dirty. It's dirty press. For years, Democrats promised to reduce drug costs, but we got it done. All they did was talk. We got it done. I tell the story of my first term, my third year, I was the first one in 28 years to lower drug prices, 0.25%. I was so proud of that. I had a news conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce that I lowered drug prices by 0.25%. First time in 28 years. The prices went down from January to December, right? Now I'm lowering prices by 70 and 80%. Now we can have it, but nobody wants to pick it up. Nobody wants to pick it up. It's pretty incredible. But the people understand. The people get it. That's why I got 100% in the CNN poll. Can you believe it? 100%. They must have made a mistake. Boy, those people that put that poll out got fired by CNN very quick. They're no longer working for that wonderful crooked network. How crooked is CNN? But you know what's worse? I think ABC fake news is worse, actually. But George Stephanopoulos, they had to pay me $16 million for what they said. CBS had to pay me $38 million for what they said. It's actually pretty good. You know, if you bring lawsuits against these guys, they're so corrupt that they pay it. How about, this one hasn't been determined yet, how about BBC, where they put me out and they have me saying, and you can't tell the difference, things that I never said that were terrible. It turned out they put out news and they changed my words, having me say horrible things. I said to my wife, I never said that. Well, darling, you said it. Look, your lips. Let's watch TiVo, one of the great things in history. Remember, television would be no good without TiVo or its equivalent. Wouldn't television be terrible if you couldn't play it back? You'd go absolutely crazy, right? So I play it back, and you're right. I said, you're right. Could I have said that? It's so horrible. And we checked it out. It turned out it was done by fake news. So we brought a suit against them, and they admitted they were guilty. They admitted. Can you believe that's how crooked they are? Now it's only a question of how much do I get. No, they have to be taught a lesson because they're crooked. They're crooked people. You know, I always say you need great borders. You need great borders, and you really need fair press. And we don't have fair. We have good borders now. We're good. We're the best we've ever been. I think we're probably the best. We are considered the best. We are the best at the border that we've ever been, but we have news that's really terrible. And the other thing you need is you need fair, free, safe, honest elections. You need that. And the only way you're going to get that is the Save America Act. You got to add the word America. Oh, when I watch these people, they hate saying Save America Act. They always say the Save Act. Nobody knows what the hell the Save Act means. Save America is good. The Save Act, are you trying to save terrorism? What are you trying to? It could be you're saving anything. It's called Save America Act. Please don't let them. You know, I saw last night on another fake network, the Save Act. It's not. It's called the Save America Act. I saw Schumer the other night. We will stop Save America. And our great First Lady, who now turns out to be a fantastic movie star. Do you believe this? She had the #1 movie. Now she's #1 on streaming. And you can't have 2 stars in one family, so this is not good. I've always said you can't have stars. There's only room for 1 star in a family. This is not a good sign. Now she has the #1 movie, and now she's got #1 on streaming. There's no talking to her. Darling, congratulations on being #1. Oh, thank you, darling. There's no talking to her. But she's doing a good job as First Lady, I'll tell you. She really is. People love her. People love her. But in our quest to restore public safety, we also need accountability for corrupt Democrat officials who conspire to obstruct federal law. Less than 1 week ago, a precious 18-year-old college student named Sheridan Gorman was shot and killed while walking in a park innocently. The illegal alien monster child was, is total animal. Remember when Nancy Pelosi got angry because I used the word animal in describing a savage killer? We were okay with it. Didn't bother me at all. The illegal alien monster charged with Sheridan's brutal murder had come illegally from Venezuela, had been released into our country by Sleepy Joe Biden. He had no idea what the hell he was doing. That's why he was, okay. Which is a better term? Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? Crooked Joe Biden, please. Sleepy Joe Biden, please. A lot of people like Sleepy Joe. Oh, he's pathetic. Worst president. But he was then arrested again and released again by the Democrat governor, J.B. Pritzker, one of the worst governors in the history of our country, in the sanctuary city of Chicago. You know, we would stop crime in Chicago just like we did in Louisiana. We had great success. Memphis, Tennessee, a crime capital. We got it down 71% in a matter of a few months. Washington is the one that we talked about already. So amazing how great we've done. But we could go to Chicago if that slob would allow, if he'd just say, please come, Mr. President. People are being killed here all the time. Please come. I would come and you would have no crime practically. Chicago would be easy for us. But they don't want to say that because they actually, I think, like it. I don't know. They're sick people. But as you saw at my State of the Union, Democrat politicians, they don't care about American blood. They spill in their very demented pursuit of these open borders. Every American needs to know that the larger majorities in the House and Senate, Republicans will, remember this, will end sanctuary jurisdictions once and for all. We need a few more votes. If we get a few more votes, if we could get a few more in the Senate, and if we could get a few more in the House, we could do things that would be a miracle. We got to get out and win. The time has also come for Republicans to pass a tough new crime bill that imposes harsh penalties for dangerous repeat offenders, cracks down on rogue judges. We got rogue judges that are criminals. They're criminals. What they do to our country, the decisions that they hand down and hurt our country. And I can tell you something, I've gone through it. And the decisions that these people make, I got a decision on tariffs that's going to cost our country, not me, I'd do it a different way, going to cost our country hundreds of billions potentially of refunds, giving them back to people that have been ripping off our country because the Supreme Court didn't want to put one little sentence that all money taken in up till this date doesn't have to be paid back. Going to cost us hundreds of billions of dollars. So sad to see. And I could give you plenty of others, too. Look at what they did to college sports. Look what they did. You do know, I mean, this is maybe not a sporting environment, but NIL, it's a disaster. College sports are a disaster. A judge made a horrible decision, and the decision got carried up. The appeal was terrible. And what they've done is destroyed college sports and destroying colleges because colleges can't afford to pay quarterbacks that never threw a ball before, that are 17 years old, $12 million to play college because every college is going to go bankrupt. Other sports aren't going to be relevant. Football is going to cause it all. Basketball to a much lesser extent. But your colleges are going to go bankrupt. Did you see where Penn State lost $525 million? Can you believe it? One of the great schools of Florida lost $450 million. Think of that. Because it's basically professional sports without a cap. And you can't have without a cap. And we had a good system. We had a scholarship system. It took 100 years to hone and perfect. And a judge who knew nothing about sports, a female, I believe, not that that matters. I have to put that preface in there. A female, I believe, who knew nothing about sports, totally upended all of sports, hundreds of years of sports in our colleges, and now we have a mess like you've never seen before. And you know who gets hit the hardest? Women. because women's sports are being canceled all over college. And other sports that are more minor sports are being dropped. That means the Olympics are going to be a disaster because this was training grounds for the Olympics. We had unbelievable training grounds, and they had scholarships and everything. But they're being terminated because they want to be able to sign football players for $4 million, $5 million, $10 million. All because the courts decided to terminate sports in colleges. And it's a very tough thing to get it back because you have all different sports, all different levels of competition. Nobody knows what to do. A woman, a judge, made a decision knowing nothing about what the hell she was doing. Courts, bad courts in this country are costing us a tremendous amount of money. And the Supreme Court, that's right, of the United States, cost our country, all they needed was a sentence, our country, hundreds of billions of dollars, and they couldn't care less. They couldn't care less. And not that it matters, doesn't matter at all. But two of the people that voted for that, I appointed, and they sicken me. They sicken me because they're bad for our country. We need a tough new crime bill that imposes harsh penalties for dangerous repeat offenders, cracks down on rogue judges and prosecutors, and ends no cash bail. No cash bail has caused a problem for our country like you wouldn't believe. Killers, they go in, they get out. They go in, they kill 2 times in one day sometimes. If our Republican majority stand up for these priorities, the American people will stand with us in record numbers. We have to be strong. We have to be tough. And we can't let these thugs on the other side of the aisle push us around. Because what they're doing right now is wrong. And the public knows it. Now the public knows it. And they're on our side. But you have to fight and you have to be tough. You have to be much tougher. And you have to stick together. Republicans have to stick together. So we won't just re-elect our majorities this November. We'll expose the corruption and radicalism of the Democrat Party. It's a lunatic. It's a party of lunatics. We'll defeat the forces of national destruction. We'll complete our mission of national renewal. And the Republican Party will grow larger, stronger, and more dominant than ever before. We have a chance to do that because we're competing against lunatics, and the public knows it, and they're seeing it every single day. And together with all of you, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And most importantly, we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Republicans. Go out and win the midterms. Thank you very much.
All right, so once he got on stage, he was on a roll. He closed it, and I hope people clip it and read it and watch it over and over again. He basically called out the Republicans and said to their faces, you have to fight for this. It's pretty much what I told you earlier today. At this point, warriors got to show up. Warriors have got to take the forefront, and it may not be for the weak at heart. You might need to step aside because he understands there's a battle ahead, a big battle, as I heard him say it. Oh, amazing. Let me check with SV before we get out of here. SV, you got anything?
Actually, no. Everything has been the Trump rally. That's all I'm really seeing. So other stuff I'm letting cook. So I don't want to put any rumors out there. Hope everybody has a good night.
They don't post the schedule for tomorrow until about 10 o'clock or so tonight. So I won't know the exact time. But if you guys heard today, Caroline Leavitt said there's going to be a big full cabinet meeting tomorrow. So I'm not sure what time. Usually those things are early. So I'll look to see before I go to bed if they've posted it. So You can sleep in. I'm sure it ain't gonna be 8 o'clock.
Oh no, I'll be ready. I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
All right. Have
I
a
won't
good
miss
evening.
it.
Okay, have a good evening. All right, everybody. Let me do super chats, and then you guys can. Yeah, I'm not going to do the Melania thing. People want to go to bed. It's already 9 o'clock. It's only 9 o'clock. But anyway, I respect it. I respect the game. Here we go. This is from Melvin. Barry, our friend, please stay encouraged. Can we still submit videos to you? Yes. Do I have, I'm not sure if I have the promotional link here. If I do, I will put it up. Where's Desdemona? Is she here? Desdemona. Desdemona. I don't have Desdemona. I think that's her, Norma, whatever her name is, from Sunset Boulevard, but don't have it. So, oh, Ashley said the cabinet meeting has been posted and it's 10 o'clock tomorrow. 10 o'clock. So we'll look to go live at about 9:30. I don't have, nope, I don't. Let me see if it's on here. Wait a second. Is it in here? Nope. Sorry, don't have it. But anyway, yes, I'll get that so you guys can start putting videos up. I might try calls, but I'm worried about calls without having somebody screening the call. I don't want some idiot to get on here. So thanks, Melvin. Kelly, I've been thinking about the birth certificate. It's not citizens they are worried about. It's the newcomers. Oh, yeah, you're right. That's for sure who they're worried about getting birth certificates. Jonathan, Barry, I really want a fair and fair hat. Okay, here's what we're going to do with the hats. Now that the website is done, I'm going to go ahead and put up a link, and it's going to expire because I don't have a whole bunch of them. I can't remember how many Ashley ordered, but I'll check in the box to see what the inventory is, and it's going to be first come, first serve. So once we put it up, they're going to go really fast. So watch for that. Dave Raton, the U.S. education system for years has been subpar. AI might actually be a better system for kids to learn, and teachers have been complaining about having to spend unpaid after-school time to help. Yep, if the parents aren't doing it, AI can help. I can't even imagine what Laura Logan was talking about. You're going to lose the midterms over being an advocate for AI. Jose, oh my God, these do-nothing Democrats are doom and gloom, but I bet you if it was to push their narrative, it would be okay. Laura, I didn't know. I'm pretty sure Laura Logan was a Republican. It's the Republican people, or I don't know what they are, people on the right who called rhinos who are causing a lot of the problems. In fact, I posted in the chat, I don't know if you saw it, but a certain podcaster who will not be named on audio went after Nick Shirley. Of all the people to go after, why in the hell would you go after Nick Shirley? Penny again. AOC took the opportunity to make this valuable educational too about ICE and their illegal alien. Yep, she did. Yeah, she did. Chiosop, people are afraid to speak up and do something because of what might happen to them. Get off the sidelines and get involved. And that goes for the people in Washington as well. All right, so Ashley says that the cabinet meeting is at 10 a.m. Let's see here. Let me check and just got a text from SV. I think he's checking something too. 1 second. SV says, Grok thought hard and said the cabinet meeting is at 10 o'clock. So both of them say 10 o'clock. And then the second event is an event at 4 p.m., 5:45. Not sure if I'm going to make it. I'll tell you guys why after I do what I do, but I'm not sure if we're going to make that one. But anyway, we will definitely make the cabinet meeting, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Macron,